Hey guys, this is Nate Jackson, and I wanted to go over the features of version 1.2 of FB Virtual Assistant, which is now available for download. The next time you start your program, it's going to automatically prompt you for an update to the software. You want to just make sure that you click yes and get version 1.2. The first thing you're going to notice is that I've increased the browser area significantly. So you can see a lot more what the software is doing as it's running, and this will help you a lot if you're if we need to troubleshoot anything. But it's running very well right now. I've increased it quite a bit. If depending on your screen resolution, up to half of the actual software will show you what's going on in the browser, half of the visible area. So that's the first enhancement. Next, on the login menu, if you go to Tools, Login, you now have a login button, so it's not quite as clumsy. So when you put in your username and password, you can just hit the login button, and it will log you in, and then wait for you to choose a function and run your next function. So we'll go ahead and log in. Go ahead and log in, click the login button, and it'll just run through the login sequence for you. And you just close that window, and it'll go ahead and log in. Next feature that I want to talk about is when you actually start to run functions. I've made it a lot more organized for people who run multiple accounts. I've created a top-level account underneath the FBVA folder, and it will create another folder that's going to be your Facebook username, so you can keep track. If you're running multiple campaigns, you can keep track of which campaigns are saving which files, because there will be a folder that's called the username, whatever your username is, which is going to be whatever email address you logged in as. So that's going to be the first folder, the top-level folder under the FBVA folder that's created now. Okay, I'll show you that in a second. The next feature is going to be with the group Gorilla. Now we have I've created the output so that you're not just getting a list of groups, URLs. You're actually getting the URL. You're getting the group name, the group description, and the number of members. And this is going to help you to prioritize which groups you're going to join first when you upload them to the Party Crasher. So I'll start that and kind of show you what it looks like. So we'll search for all groups that have the name, I don't know, Richard Pryor. We're going to search for groups about Richard Pryor. Okay, so make sure that we're on the Group Gorilla module. We are, and we're going to search for group type both, and then we're going to find groups about Richard Pryor. So we're going to click Find. So it's running. And now I'm going to go to the FBVA folder and show you what's happening. So we're going to go to the FBVA folder. And now you see we have a new folder here that's the actual username of this account. So that's the email address of that account. And now we create the folder called Groups, and we have a file called richardpryor.txt. Also, if you are an existing user and you currently have your Groups folder, you can just move that folder into whatever account you're using. So just copy that and move it into the folder that you want it to be in. So we go back here, and the file is still running. So let's see, we've got 44 groups so far. I picked this because I know that doesn't have that many groups in it. So it's saving right now. It's saving the Richard Pryor groups, and it'll alert us when we're done. And once that's done, I'll show you what the output looks like. I can't open it now because it's still saving the file and processing. And once that's done, that's one thing you want to remember. Don't really open the files while the program is running, because you'll end up causing a write error. So let's give it a second. And remember, when you're running the Group Gorilla, you can actually input the keyword. You can input multiple keywords in the keyword list and just separate them by comma. And you can also upload a list of keywords that you want to find groups for, and it'll run all of those in sequence and give you output files for each keyword with the name of the keyword as the name of the file. So it says we found 44 groups for the keyword Richard Pryor. Group saved to documents FBVA, the email address of the account groups richardpryor.txt. Okay, so it says join Party Crasher module to join these groups now. So we'll go back to that file. I'm going to open it in OpenOffice Calc and see what the output looks like. So it's coming. So once we get that open, here it is. Okay, so now we have the list of URLs for all the groups here. We have right here, this column is the number of members in each group. So if you wanted to manipulate it and sort it by from greatest to least number, then you can do that. I'll do a separate tutorial on how to do that. I have the name of each group here and then the description of each group. And this comes in handy when you want to know which groups allow posting and which groups don't allow posting. So in a group like this, it wouldn't really give you that kind of indication because this is more entertainment. But if you're an internet marketer, usually that information is going to be in this file, in this column. So that just helps you to prioritize a bit more which groups you're going to pay more attention to. So that's going to be your output for every keyword that you find groups for. So the next feature that I want to discuss is the My Group Finder and how that's changed. So now My Group Finder is going to run in a similar fashion, but you can also use the keyword list to find the groups that you belong to that meet a certain keyword. So I'm going to start this briefly, but I'm not going to run the entire thing because all of my groups have a lot of members. So let's say internet marketing. You want to find the groups that you belong to that are called internet marketing. So now you can click find, and this will find only the groups that you belong to that are internet marketing. So this is handy if you want to run separate campaigns in different niches. You can find groups for each keyword and run a separate campaign. You'll create the list of URLs for that, upload it into PostPerfect, and then only post to those groups. So this is very handy. It allows you to be a little bit more specific than as opposed to having to manually delete groups that you don't want to post to. Okay. So I belong to 11 groups for the keyword internet marketing, and it's saved to the folder my groups /mygroups/internetmarketing.txt. So let's see what that output looks like. So we're going to go to that folder and that username groups, my groups, internetmarketing.txt, and then we open that file. You can open it in OpenOffice Calc. Of course, you can open it in Microsoft Excel as well. So we got the group URL, the number of members, and the group name. And so soon we'll have the group description for that as well. It's going to take me a little bit more time. It's been a little bit tricky to get those working properly. But so far we have the group name and the number of members and the URL. So you can prioritize by number of members which groups you want to post to. And you can upload that file directly into PostPerfect. With Party Crasher, now if you want to join groups, choose the Party Crasher module. And when you want to join groups, no longer does it deplete the. I had it originally where it was depleting the list of groups that you're joining as it joins groups. Now that's no longer happening, so you can preserve the data that you've already collected. So I've created a new file and a new folder for the Party Crasher. I did that for both Party Crasher as well as the PostPerfect module. So now your folders, your files that you find in the Group Gorilla and the files that you join in Party Crasher are preserved. So you no longer have to run those modules each time you want to use that same keyword. So for example, we're joining this. That's pretty self-explanatory. It'll create a new folder called Party Crasher, and in that folder will be a file for in the instance where you do stop the program before it completes joining all of the groups. It's going to create a new folder called Party Crasher, which you see right here. And this Party Crasher folder has all of the files for the groups that you're joining that are in process. So this file will be depleted as you run through the groups, but you'll have your original file will still be in the groups folder. So this file no longer gets touched by the program. It works from a new file in the Party Crasher module. So if you ever stop joining the groups work from home and need to restart, you go into the Party Crasher folder and find that file, and you can pick up where you left off without having to start from the beginning and without having to run Group Gorilla again. So I've set it up for both Party Crasher as well as Post Perfect. So you have a new file that you can use to resume if you ever have to stop in the middle of the program. Now, Post Perfect, I've moved everything here is still the same. You can still set all your timing settings right here, and you can start and stop and pause here. But I moved the actual content creation window, so it's a pop-up now. So you can enter your information that you want to post, test post. So now once you start that, you can hide that, and you'll have a lot more real estate on the main screen. And I've also added, now this is very powerful, I've also added a do not post list. And what this is, it's kind of like it's a list of groups that you don't want to post to. So if you have some groups that you're a member of in your account, and you know that you never want to post to these groups regardless of what niche you're posting to, you can create a file of just those URLs and load it into the do not post list field, and it'll if any of those URLs are in any of the other files, it won't post to those groups. So it's kind of like a blacklist. So here's where we normally pick our groups to post to. Let's see, my groups, test table. These are my test groups. And so if we wanted to post, we wanted to restrict some of the groups that we're going to post to, then we can upload a different file. Let's see here. Where is it? Post Perfect, test table. Okay, so if we wanted to just restrict the files that we're going to, the groups that we're going to post to, just upload it to the do not post list, and it will not post to any groups that are in this list that are on this list. So it'll only post to the unique groups that are in this list. And we have the same file, same folder here for Post Perfect that we had for Party Crasher. So if you ever stop the program in the middle of posting, you can go to the Post Perfect folder and find the file that you were posting to, and it will resume where you left off. So that's how that works. Everything else is pretty much the same. So when you start running, just click the post button. So it's pretty much still operates the same, other than now you can upload a list of groups that you don't want to post to, the do not post list. So everything else is still running the same. So that's that. Now, another pretty significant feature is the enhancement I made to the OG Graph Search. With the OG Graph Search now, you don't enter your search term in the software anymore. You can enter your search term directly in the Facebook Graph Search window. So let's say we want to find people who belong to groups named dating and live in Sacramento, California. Okay, so now when you're running OG Graph Search, you have to make sure that you pick a list of results that has this blue icon with the white silhouette, because that's going to find a list of people for you. So make sure you can actually pick which result that you want to find and download data for. So you type in your search, then you pick the list of results that you want, which best matches best matches your desired search. So you click that, and then now you can actually refine the search if you want. Say if you want to just pick, say, female or male, or however you want to refine it, you can refine it. And then once you do that, then you have the option to get the names of the people as well as the user ID and the Facebook email and the login. Or if you don't choose the names, it's going to run a bit faster. So that's a checkbox here. You can pick the names or you can not get the names. So we'll get the names this time, and it'll runs a little bit slower. It runs faster if you don't get the names, but it runs well either way. And then you want to just give the file. You want to give it a file name that you want your output saved to. So we'll call it dating California. Dating California. If I can spell women. Okay, and then just click search, and it's gonna pick the module again, and pick search, click search, and then it's going to start downloading all that data, and it's going to download it until it runs through all the options. So you have a lot more flexibility, and you have a lot more control over the results that you get from the OG graph search now, and I think that's a really important feature. That's a really, really good upgrade I put in there. So let's take a look at what the output looks like now for the OG graph search. So we go into people. We have a new folder called OG graph search and dating California women. So we right click that, open it. I stopped it in the middle of the process, so there may be some incomplete information on there based on where I stopped it. But let's see what we get so far. Here it is. Okay, so we have the user ID, Facebook user ID that you can use for your Facebook ads if you run paid marketing, paid advertising on Facebook. You have your user ID. You have the Facebook email address, which I mentioned how Facebook has converted or is now forwarding all of the email sent to the Facebook email address to the user's actual real email address, their login email. So that's a really good benefit for anyone who wants to send messages to people. They'll have a better chance of getting read now. You get the Facebook user profile URL. You get their full name, and you get their first name. So this will be handy when I add all these three columns will be handy when I add the message wizard and the friend genie to add friends and to message new people. So you get a very good set of information. I don't know of many programs that give you, I don't know of any programs personally that give you all of this information. So it's very handy. And one thing I do want to recommend is that unless you need the name and the first name of the users, say if you just want to get the user IDs and the email addresses, then you'd be better off not to untick the get names box, because this causes it to run slower. If you need the names and the first names, then tick that box, but just be aware that it's going to run a little bit slower. So those are the main upgrades and updates to version 1.2 of FB Virtual Assistant, and I have the software in a state that I am very comfortable with right now. I do value your feedback, so if you find anything that you think could be done better, I take all suggestions seriously. Most of the updates and upgrades that I added in here were based on feedback from users. So feel free to submit a ticket at support.createautomate.com if there's ever anything that you think could be done better, or if there are any issues that arise. Facebook changes their layout often, so that causes me to have to adapt the software. But I get on these issues quickly, and I usually find a way around it and make sure that you get what you want. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. That's FB Virtual Assistant version 1.2. Is going to be at the current price till the end of March, and it could be going up after that. So you want to get it as soon as you can if you don't already have it. This is Nate Jackson signing out. Look for more videos in the future. I'm going to step back from developing for a while and focus on making sure that you have the best user experience possible by making sure that you put out enough videos that you know exactly how to use the software. I'm going to talk to you soon, and enjoy the upgrades.